This is CAAP Task 2.
And I'm Jennifer Ross, and I'll be reviewing Carly Goodrum's paper, Task 2. Carly, this is hard to say because you have always outstanding writing, but this might have been your very best one ever. So I'm just going to read through the rubric. Is the task content aligned with course content? And I put the task content is aligned with course content. Task shows appropriate protocol for involving staff and qualitative research, both through survey and interviews. Multiple technologies are utilized to accomplish task requirements. This narrative is outstanding. Areas of strength were visual depictions of survey data, effort in acquiring qualitative research information with survey and interviews, strong connections made between climate analysis and school environment analysis. Weakness, there really was not a weakness. So the only thing I suggested was something I found when I was looking at the rubric for my own paper, and it mentioned a visual representation of the presentation to the SIT team. And I wrote in your review that you talked about your presentation, and you showed something in there about your presentation that you had used. But I said, if you wanted to add a picture to show your, you presenting, or if you had a video of it, that would be my only recommendation to add. Leadership was demonstrated by your interview participant choices and your explanation of the way, like why you chose those people. Communications with staff to conduct and schedule interviews shows consideration of others, and conclusions made with the team and relevance of recommendations also portrayed leadership. And your APA and grammar and everything was great, and we don't even have to talk about that during this, but I did want to just say I really liked how you formatted all of your like survey data, your graphs, in the exact same way. And so like they were all the same size, and of course they used the same color scheme. It just really made your paper look so professional and organized, and it made you, like, it just flowed so well. Everything was consistently in the same order. And so sometimes things, I think when we add figures, they can be distracting, and they can't all be the same because some of them are a list of people and some are graphs or whatever, but all the ones that were from your survey were exactly, formatted exactly the same. It just really was very professionally done. So I really enjoyed reading it, and I thought you did a great job.
Thank you, darling. And I took your advice, and I added the pictures. It's kind of difficult when you're presenting to kind of do it at the same time.
Yes.
But then you want to be mindful of, if your audience is okay with that.
Right.
So I kind of refrained from the recording, but I was able to take a few snapshots with my principal and a few of the SIT team members in attendance. We were able to do it like briefly during our lunch break. Everybody was
good.
allowing me to do that. So I took that into consideration, and I definitely added it. And I said, thank you so much for that.
Sure.
Excellent, excellent. All right, Debbie, I'm going to do you, Debbie.
All righty.
All right, I will be reviewing Debbie Parrish's CAAP 2, and overall your content. I included the candidate's narrative and artifact alignment with the course content and rubric requirements on the accomplished level. The school environmental analysis include a detailed description of the qualitative research process, including information derived from various sources of school data, such as student achievement data from diverse subgroups of the student population, breakdown of faculty demographics, and statement from faculty interviews. You did an outstanding job. Strengths, excellent explanation of qualitative data, including the school and community demographic information, student achievement data across subgroups and content areas, and statements from school faculty concerning factors contributing to student performance. I particularly liked how you provided background knowledge related to the recent changes in school leadership and how this contributed to an increase in the faculty's workplace satisfaction. It improved from approximately 90 to 95%. which was a great addition. Lastly, the qualitative data is graphically presented in a clear and detailed manner that complements the narrative. As far as weakness, like I said, you did an outstanding job. The only thing was kind of similar to what Jennifer recommended for myself, which is maybe include a picture or notes from at least one of your faculty interview sessions. So if you jotted down any details, maybe include like a picture of that to further demonstrate participation in the qualitative research process.
Okay.
In regards to leadership, candidate demonstrated leadership throughout the qualitative research process, including conducting faculty interviews and selecting the focus group participants and leading the data analysis process. As far as mechanics and grammar, the only recommendation that I included was in regards to figure 28, the CAAP team recommendations chart, you know, kind of just go in and maybe reformat that so that, you know, it's more, you know what I mean? Like just smaller and just more concise in the table configuration. As far as your organization, I'm sorry. As far as your organization, the narrative was structured in a logical and cohesive manner with a professional tone. Description of graph context is properly labeled throughout the narrative and easily flows from section to section. As far as APA formatting, I think I only made one recommendation. Oh, as far as revisiting the reference page and remove the bold typing in as far as your head, and maybe check the paragraph alignment to ensure that it's not centered, but more towards the left. And I think that was it. But everything else was fabulous. You did an outstanding job. Like I said, very detailed and very informative. And it was very wide ranging and gave me a great depiction of your school. So great job, Debbie.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All righty, Miss Jennifer. I will start yours by saying I think this was your best one so far. I mean, yours are always good, but I think you really did a great job this time of making everything very concise, you know, because you and I always talk about how we tend to be very wordy, and I still haven't figured out how to be concise yet, but I think you've mastered it now. You have it down pat. I mean, it was so easy to read. It just flowed very, I mean, from one piece to the other, it just tied together really, really well. So I thought you did an awesome job with this one. The task content was aligned with course content. You had appropriate support to provide that you provided through your teacher working conditions survey and your NC report card. So you did a really good job of looking for that support information. Your interviews and your focus group requirements were met. The content, it gave a clear picture of Hendersonville Elementary School and the needs of the school environment. The qualitative data collected supported the findings in the TW in the teacher working conditions survey and in the report card. For the content, one thing that I really liked that you did is you focused on, y'all had transition in your school and your leadership, and I really like the fact that you brought that and talked about that, because that really does make a change. I mean, it changes the dynamics of your school, and it would change your teacher working conditions survey over the next few years. So I thought that was really good that you made that very evident of what it had turned into, versus you focused on the positive versus focusing on maybe not negative, but whatever it was in the past. So I thought that was really good. I enjoyed reading about that, and including people in your focus groups too that went to other schools, your assistant principal and your intervention person, I think it is, that goes to the other school. I thought that was a good choice of people for your focus group, because then it gave them another aspect, of what goes on at other schools in your focus groups. I thought that was really good choice. For rubric strength, you met the accomplished requirements as stated in the rubric. You use qualitative data through interviews and focus groups to support the data in all areas mentioned in the rubric. Your paper was very concise. You covered the material and provided specific details to support your findings. Rubric weakness. The only thing that I saw that you may want to check on is check on figure 10. There seems to be a chart or a table missing. It's got figure 10, and then it's got the title of it, but then there's nothing below it.
Okay, I don't know if that's the picture that I meant to, that I'm going to go back and include. I don't remember. And
Yeah.
I read your review at school today, but my paper is saved at home, so
Yeah,
I'll
so
go pull
just
that
double
up when
check
we
that.
get
That was
through.
the only thing that I saw, that you made. The only other thing that I was looking for and I didn't find it, did you have the questions that you asked in the interview? I know you had the answers.
I have a snapshot of my master that lists like each area and
Right,
my
I saw
notes of
that.
what to ask. But I think what your suggestion about typing those up and adding them, I think that's a good
And the
addition.
appendix, yeah, that was those are the
Yeah,
only two things that I thought, may add to it, just so they know what questions you did ask your focus group or in your interviews.
sure.
That was the only thing I saw. Leadership, I know you've been working really hard to toot your own horn in leadership, and I think you did a great job this time on that. You really showed where you were the leader in all those groups. You showed that you created the team. You showed that you gave them instructions on what to do. You gathered your data. I thought you did a really, really good job of that this time, showing your leadership. So I thought that was great. You should be very proud of yourself on that one. That was very nicely done.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
And then mechanics and grammar, I saw no errors. Um, your organization, it was wonderful. Like I said at the beginning, it was very well organized, easy to read and follow. And then APA formatting, the only thing I saw with that is check your in-text citation on page 9.
Okay.
It looked like that might belong on the reference page, but there may be something different that I haven't looked up, that I haven't had that. It was the NC report card,
Okay.
and you had it on page 9. And like when I did NC report card, I put mine on the back page. I'm on the reference page. So I don't know if that was just you were putting it there for a reminder. So you
Okay.
didn't
I could have,
forget or
because
what.
sometimes I do that.
Sometimes I do that. So you may want to check that for page 9. But other than that, everything looked great. You did an awesome job.
Thank you. Thanks so
Very,
much.
very good. Y'all good?
Yeah.
All right, we are complete. I'm gonna go ahead and stop it.